Hi, everybody. This is Randy England. Sometimes we just want to be left alone, but we all know people who can't leave us in peace. There's a virtue that gets too little play, the virtue of minding one's own business. From the beginning, mankind has been free. Going all the way back to the Garden of Eden, you have Adam and Eve, and they were free, and there was only one rule. Don't eat of the fruit of one particular tree, because God warned them that eating that fruit would lead to their death. But they chose poorly, and death came into our world. Now, we've heard this story so many times, we just don't stop to consider how weird this is. From a human point of view, this is really peculiar. When men wish to prevent something bad from happening, they take steps to stop it from happening. If it is in their power to stop something that they do not want to happen, they stop it. If they cannot reliably stop someone from doing something they don't want done, they declare it a crime and punish the offender afterward. Unlike man, God has the absolute power to stop evil, to stop anything from happening, and He could stop it at any stage that He wants. He might have never made men in the first place. He could have made us like robots so that we never acted wrongly or acted in any way that would be harmful to us, but He did not do that either. Having made men who could choose evil, He might have chosen to punish evil instantly, whenever it occurred, but God didn't do that either. While many wrong actions have natural consequences in this life, most of us are given a full lifespan before being called to account for our own lives. Freedom is given to each of us, despite the danger of choosing wrongly, because only free men can become good men. True virtue requires liberty, so God respects our free will and lets us live our lives, for better or for worse. For many, God's forbearance signals an opening to step in and interfere with their neighbors' lives, despite the fact that many scriptural passages condemn meddling in the affairs of others. When others threaten or harm us, we have the right to protect ourselves, our property, and our loved ones. It is our affair. We may even come to the aid of a stranger who is being robbed, but with this caveat: the further we are from a problem, the more we have to pause before interfering with matters that do not concern us and which we may not understand. This has never been more true than when others behave in ways we disapprove of, but are not harming anyone, except perhaps themselves. People who meddle in others' business we call busybodies, and the Scripture has nothing good to say about them. The mildest biblical reproach for the busybody is when King Solomon declares him to be a fool in Proverbs. Elsewhere, Solomon advises that he who meddles in another man's quarrel is only buying trouble for himself, like the man who seizes a passing dog by the ears. The New Testament is even harsher, describing such people as lazy idlers. In 2 Thessalonians we read, "We hear that some are conducting themselves among you in a disorderly way, by not keeping busy, but minding the business of others. They are meddlers, going from house to house with gossip, talking about things that ought not be mentioned, rather than being productive." St. Peter called them intriguers or mischief makers, and classes them with thieves, murderers, and other criminals. In C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, after Aslan came back and Peter and Susan and Edmund and Lucy were made kings and queens over Narnia, Lewis tells us, "They made good laws and kept the peace, and liberated young dwarfs and young satyrs from being sent to school, and generally stopped busybodies and interferers, and encouraged ordinary people who wanted to live and let live." Christians, or anyone for that matter, should consider this gentle wisdom that comes from Jesus when He said to His apostles, "You know that those who are supposed to rule over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them, but it shall not be so among you. Live and let live, the golden rule, mind your own business." This is Randy England. Thanks for listening.